Respected Professor Sitaramanji, dignitaries on the dais, respected educators and patrons of higher education from across India gathered at the 26th World Education Summit organized by ILETS. I'd like to highlight some very key interlinkages between the economy and higher education in my keynote address and share some very vital ideas in which each one of us can play an important role, irrespective of the institutions we belong to or the geographies that we come from. Recently, the United Nations has projected India as a bright spot on the global horizon, despite geopolitical turbulence. We are now a country with a GDP of $3.5 trillion. Last year, we surpassed the UK to become the fifth largest economy, and next year, we will surpass Germany to become the fourth largest economy. It took nearly 60 years for India to reach the first $1 trillion of its GDP. It took 7 years thereafter to reach the second $1 trillion, and it took just 5 years to reach the third $1 trillion, which we did pre-pandemic in 2019. That is the scale and speed with which Indian economy is expanding, and we are now well on track to become a $10 trillion economy well before 2035. I'd like to highlight the fact that this remarkable growth story is being catalyzed by two very vital elements. One is the phenomenal ICT connectivity, and secondly is our well-aligned net zero commitments. With one of the cheapest data rates across the world, India is home to over 80 crore internet users and over 120 crore cell phone users. And we consume more data compared to US and China put together. On the environment front, as part of our NDCs declared at COP21 in Paris 2015, India had committed to achieving 40% of its installed electricity capacity from non-fossil fuels by 2030. We achieved this target in 2021, 9 years ahead of the scheduled date. We are now in a phase where new and systematic solutions are required to create a long-term roadmap for a robust Indian economy that can successfully navigate a new global order. Higher education can play a pivotal role in this journey in achieving our vision of the Amrit Kal and the targets of a Viksit Bharat in 2047. Let's look at some of the key characteristics of higher education in India today. We have in 2023 surpassed China to become the most populous nation in the world. Estimates suggest that we will remain the youngest country in the world till 2070. This has implications for our higher education system. Currently, over 4 crore students are studying in nearly 1,200 universities in India. This number is estimated to expand to nearly 8 crore students by 2035 as envisaged in the National Education Policy 2020. Cumulatively, in the next 25 years, over 100 crore students would be graduating from the portals of India's higher education institutions. Over 90 crore students will belong to the working age group population between now and 2070. Given these staggering numbers, the linear growth in terms of employment opportunities is not going to be sustainable in order to absorb the graduates passing out from the portals of our higher education institutions. Moreover, with several new age technologies like AI, ML, robotics, mechatronics, and more, the kind of skills that are going to be required in order to be employable and deployable in the industry are going to be very different. According to an estimate by Goldman Sachs, around 30 crore jobs may be affected globally by the latest wave of generative AI. In this context, it is important to reflect that we are continuing to be inspired by the Macaulayan model of education, where our system is designed to link education with job creation. Every higher education institution is measured on its metric of being able to place students in employable roles. Hence, there is an urgent need in this century to relook at education as a means to transform students to become innovators and repositories of knowledge and awareness that not only makes them job creators, but also makes them contributors to the knowledge economy that India is going to be in the 21st century. Hence, the role of higher education should be focused on three fundamental pillars which I wish to highlight. First, entrepreneurship. India is today the third largest startup ecosystem in the world with 90,000 DPIIT registered startups. We have 108 unicorns that have come up at the speed of one new unicorn every 9 days. And we add the greatest number of startups per day than any other country in the world. Every 3 people in India are added to our digital ecosystem. Hence, this digitization and digitalization has played a very important role in order to enable India to be the thriving startup ecosystem that it is. A recent NASSCOM report estimated that in the last 5 years, nearly 10% of the white-collar jobs were created by startups, and that by 2025, India's startup ecosystem would be able to provide nearly 500 million direct and indirect jobs to graduates of Indian higher education institutions. These startups are primarily being fed by top quality higher education institutions, including the IIMs and the IITs. This is evident from the fact that 50% of the founders of the unicorns are graduates of the Indian Institutes of Technology. It's very vital, hence, that higher education institutions of all genres focus on nurturing this risk-taking, venture-building, and entrepreneurial capabilities in their graduates so they can transition from being job seekers to job creators. The second pillar is the one of technology. According to Global Market Insights, AI in education has an estimated $4 billion market size and is expected to grow to $30 billion by 2032. A McKinsey Global Institute report found that existing technologies could automate 20 to 40% of activities that educators currently possess and lead to 2 to 2.5 times improvement in the learning outcomes when compared to traditional approaches. Hence, it is evident that large language models or generative AI, the family to which OpenAI, Bard, and Claude belong to, may offer abundant prospects to enhance quality of the teaching learning process. Let me highlight 3 or 4 ways in which this can be done. While several academics do believe that LLMs pose serious ethical concerns and are likely to hinder human creativity, nevertheless, any innovation of this magnitude cannot be wished away. So the question is, how do we deal with it? For a long time, our higher education system has been based on information acquisition and memorization. Instead of being passive recipients of knowledge, can the students participate in the development of the knowledge economy by immersive experiences that can be created through the use of AI in the pedagogical and curricular processes? Can educators use AI to modify traditional evaluation methods and incorporate various techniques to assess students' imagination, knowledge, and skills? And can we ensure that we use LLMs as calculators were used for mathematics? It is not a man versus machine problem. It is the ability of the educator and all the stakeholders associated with the system of education to use AI as an effective tool to enhance the ability of the students to become knowledge, awareness, and innovation-focused individuals. The last pillar I'd like to highlight is sustainability. The role of higher education institutions in promoting sustainable practices and reducing carbon emissions can hardly be overstated. The global student population of 23.5 crores in 2020 by UNESCO, studying in over 20,000 universities across the globe, presents an exceptional opportunity to shape environmentally conscious individuals. This is an area which has been getting increasing focus in recent times. I was just discussing with Professor Mittal on a recent study by AIU on implementing SDGs in higher education institutions in a very strategic and tactical fashion. Nearly 4.7 crores of these global students are staying on university campuses, and hence these campuses are very potent platforms in order to make them environmentally conscious individuals. A growing number of universities in the US, in UK, and Australia have adopted the Green Campus Initiative. We did some analysis on this based on the Western universities' average carbon footprint and adapted to the relevant Indian factors. It is estimated that the combined efforts of 2,500 universities, over 70,000 colleges, and 8 crore students in India by 2035 could have a collective carbon footprint close to 5.2 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, which is nearly equal to the carbon dioxide footprint of USA in 2021. Hence, there is a phenomenal opportunity to look at higher education institutions, campuses in a very environmentally friendly, with a very environmentally friendly lens. While research-driven technological innovation can be a very powerful tool, SDG-aligned curricula and pedagogy can inculcate sustainable behavior, together propelling higher education towards a future that is resilient, responsible, and resource efficient. I'd like to draw your attention to Mission Life, Lifestyle for Sustainable Environment, that was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister in collaboration with the United Nations in 2022. It charts a promising course for India and the need for the planet's sustainable future by embodying a holistic approach to environmental stewardship through conscious lifestyle choices. Let us extend the example of Mission Life in higher education. I'd like to share another statistic. In 2023, if 4 crore students in higher education institutions adopt sustainable behaviors like replacing a weekly 5-kilometer car ride with cycling, composting half of the daily waste generated, and saving 20 liters of water daily, we could annually avoid around 2.8 million metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions and conserve 2,900 crore liters of water, which is equal to the volume of nearly 12,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That is the kind of footprint we have. That is the kind of impact we can make. In the long term, an environmentally literate population, imbibed through environmentally aligned pedagogy and curriculum, pursuing environmentally relevant research, and living environmentally benign lives, can play a phenomenal role in mainstreaming circular economy principles and creating green products and services such that economy and industry is seen from a green lens in letter and spirit, and India and its economy can reach its net zero targets way before 2070. In conclusion, I'd like to say, integrating Indian higher education with entrepreneurship, technology, and sustainability can play a phenomenal role in expanding the knowledge, environmental, innovation footprint of this sector, and also help India achieve its vision for the Amrit Kal and our collective dream of an inclusive and sustainable India when we celebrate our centenary year of independence. Thank you.